It's Christmas Eve, and those who believe are waiting for Santa's sleigh. We can't hear it quite, for it's deep in the night, and still a long way away. So to pass the time, here's a little rhyme, as we wait for the sleigh bell sound, and learn of Robin Hood in his snow-covered wood, when Santa was Sherwood bound. So sit a whiles by the fireside tiles, and watch the Yule logs warming glow, and hear of Robin Hood in his snow-covered wood, and a Christmas long ago. It was many, many years ago. The snow lay thick on the ground, and Santa and his reindeer had nearly finished their round. 2 places left to visit, then their Christmas job was done. Santa coaxed the reindeer onward, he'd nearly finished his run. The next place he had to visit was a merry outlaw band of valiant men and honest men who lived in Sherwood land. And Santa thought of the end of his ride as he drove across the sky. A tired old man, but a happy man, he munched a fine mince pie. First he'd pay his call in Sherwood, he dropped minced pie crumbs on his gown. Then the last call of all that Christmas Eve, the boys and girls of Nottingham town. Santa looked down to the earth and spotted, all covered in snow, the mighty oaks of Sherwood glistening far below. He told the reindeer to descend and drop mince pie crumbs on his knees. A difficult landing this would be in the forest full of trees. Then Santa spotted a clearing lit by torches as if it were day. "Well done, Robin, and thank you," he cried as he landed the sleigh. 3 figures came towards him. Santa hailed them with a cheer. Then he saw that they carried swords, and Santa clutched his heart in fear. For these weren't Robin's merry men, something had gone wrong. This was the sheriff and the abbot and their leader, Bad Prince John. "What is it you want?" asked Santa, doing his best to be brave. "Your sleigh load of presents," snarled the sheriff, "and your life if you don't behave." Santa answered them crossly, "This sleigh load of Christmas toys is not for bad men such as you, but good little girls and boys." The sheriff of Nottingham said, "My man, that's an insult you can ill afford." Then the evil sheriff laughed a laugh and poked Santa with his sword. Poor Santa, he was in despair, for his job was not yet done, and every other Christmas Eve he'd done all his Christmas run. In another part of Sherwood, by a tree called the Mighty Oak, 3 other men were waiting and passing time with a joke. They lived their lives in the forest and carried longbows on their backs. They waited for Santa patiently with 3 empty child's toy sacks. One was wearing a cloak of brown whilst 2 wore link green. They blended into the woodland, not easy to be seen. The sacks belonged to the children of poor people who lived nearby. And the men were watching for Santa to come flashing across the sky. One man was the leader, and he had a friendly smile. Known to all the people of Sherwood, he was loved for many a mile. The next man was a giant. He stood near 7 feet tall, and though the leader was a big man, the giant made him look small. The third, he was a fat man, and a happy man was he, a warrior monk who lived his life, and brave as brave could be. The leader, he was Robin Hood, the greatest with a bow. With Little John and Friar Tuck, he waited for Santa in the snow. Robin saw a flash of light about a mile away, descending from the nighttime sky. It was Santa on his sleigh. "Come on, men," he bade them, "Santa is a silly clot. Still, he's probably feeling tired, for he's landed in the wrong spot." They set off running quickly like shadows through the night. They hoped Santa had landed safely after his marathon flight. They soon reached the other clearing without any stumbles or slips. Then Robin sensed that something was wrong and put his finger to his lips. They peeped from behind the bushes and kept very low to the ground. Santa's sleigh was nearly empty and the presents all scattered around. The sheriff, the abbot and Bad Prince John were robbing Santa Claus. Robin notched an arrow to his bow. Was there ever a better cause? He crept a little closer and rose up on one knee. But where was dear old Santa? And he spotted him tied to a tree. Robin he took careful aim, as did Tuck and Little John. They pulled their bowstrings ready to fire, and their determined faces shone. Twang, twang, twang the bowstrings went. The arrows were on their way. In the wink of an eye the three bad men were pinned by arrows to Santa's sleigh. Robin and his two brave pals ran to cut Santa free. And was Santa pleased to see them, he shouted out in glee. Then Robin spoke to the robbers. Before I let you go, to teach you a lesson we're going to throw these balls at you made of snow. Then Santa and the outlaws had a lovely snowball fight, throwing them at the robbers, who had a terrible fright. When the robbers were covered all over so they looked like three snowmen, Robin said, now I'll let you go, but never come here again. The robbers set off running, in case he should change his mind. But after all it was Christmas, and Robin Hood was kind. But now Santa looked a bit worried. You know, Robin, I'm so late, I can't deliver all the presents. Oh, I'm in a sorry state. But Robin he smiled a smile, and raised his horn up to his lips. 3 blasts he blew upon it, then placed his hands upon his hips. Why, Santa, do not worry, for me and my merry band will help you deliver the presents. We'll be pleased to lend a hand. There's only one condition, then we'll deliver lots and lots. We can leave them in the kitchens and not climb down chimney pots. So Santa grinned and thanked him and rubbed his whiskery face. He'd get all the presents delivered and save himself from disgrace. Then Robin's men came running and he loaded them down with sacks, then sent them off to Nottingham with Santa's presents upon their backs. Next day the children of Nottingham all had a big surprise. Their presents were in the kitchens. They couldn't believe their eyes. But what nobody ever told them, what has been secret until this day, is that Robin and his men delivered them on that long ago Christmas day. So Santa went back with Robin to the secret outlaw den and spent Christmas with the outlaws, with Robin's merry men. They ate the king's best venison and drank the sheriff's wine, and Santa said he'd never had such a jolly time. It was the very best Christmas ever, that day when Santa stood deep in the heart of the forest and spent Christmas with Robin Hood.